What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Hunter, and what I've done is created 3 different specs for you guys. I have a Beast Mastery Hunter spec, a Marksman Hunter spec, and then a Melee Hunter spec. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you those talents, runes, and some best-in-slot pre-raid gear that you can use before stepping foot into Black Fathom Deep's The Raid for the first time. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start off with our Beast Mastery Hunter. First things first, we're going to go over to our chest rune, and we're going to pick up Cobra Strikes. Your critical hits with shot abilities cause your pet's next 2 special attacks to critically hit. That's going to be our best in-slot chest rune for Beast Mastery. Our leg rune, you guessed it, we're going to take Kill Command. Gives the command to kill, increasing your pet's damage from special attacks by 60% for 30 seconds. Each special attack done by the pet reduces the damage bonus by 20%. Obviously the best leg rune right here. And then, you guessed it, hand rune, we're going with Beast Mastery. Your pet's damage and health are increased by 30% and its focus regeneration by 80%. In addition, your pet's growl now also taunts the target to attack it for 3 seconds. So those would be our runes for Beast Mastery Hunter. Moving on to our talents, we're going to put 5 points into Improved Aspect of the Hawk, which will give our ranged attacks a 5% chance of increasing our ranged attack speed by 30% for 12 seconds. This procs quite a bit and will be a huge DPS increase. Next, we're going to put 3 points into Endurance Training for 9% health increase on our pet, 2 points into Revive Pet to reduce the mana cost and cast time of Revive Pet, 5 points into Unleash Fury to increase the damage by our pet by 20%, and then the last point you can throw in Ferocity, which will give our pet an extra 3% chance to crit. Now let's go take a look at some gear. So moving on to our gear, our head slot item would be the Bright Eye Goggles from Engineering, 9 Spirit, 9 Stamina, our Sentinels Medallion neck piece, which will be honored with Silver Wing Sentinels or Warsong Outriders, depending on if you're Horde or Alliance. And then for shoulder piece, we can go with the Dark Leather Shoulders. 7 agility is really good. They're made by leather workers, so there'll be plenty of them around. You can go with the Mantle of Thieves if you get your hands on it. This would be the absolute best shoulder piece. However, those will be pretty expensive. Dark Leather Shoulders should do the trick. Moving on down to our cape, we have Cape of the Brotherhood for 6 agility, 3 stamina with a 3 agility enchant on it. This is a massive cape to have at this level from Deadmines. If you're Horde and you don't want to farm this, you can always go with the glowing Lizard Scale Cloak, which will still give you that 6 agility and 2 spirit. You're just losing that stamina, but that doesn't really increase your DPS at all, so your DPS will be the same whether you're Horde or Alliance when it comes to this cape. If you're Horde, go for the glowing Lizard Scale Cloak, and if you're Alliance, go for Cape of the Brotherhood. As for your chest, Alliance is going to go for Tunic of Westfall with a 5 stam, 11 agility on it. If you can't get this, let's say you're playing Horde, you can just go for one of these of agility chest pieces. You're getting the same amount of agility again, so your DPS is going to be the exact same across both factions. However, you will be losing 5 stamina, but that's okay. That doesn't affect our damage. As for bracers, we went with the Wolf Bracers. These are great because we're getting 2 stamina, 4 agility, 1 agility enchanted on them. So for a total of 5 agility and 2 stamina, these are a really nice set of bracers. If you could pick these up, they're going to be pretty cheap. You can get them from vendors and people resell them on the auction house as well. So I would try and pick those up. And then our weapon, I went with a 2-hander that has 11 agility on it. You can pick any 2-hander with agility. Just get something of agility because this is basically just going to be a stat stick for us in raid regardless. And then for our gloves, we have Pilferer's Gloves, which are 8 agility with 5 agility enchanted on them for a total of 13 agility, sorry, math. So those are a really nice set of gloves to pick up. And then Deviate Scale Belt is another big one, 6 stamina, 5 agility, 3 spirit, but you can get more DPS if you go for something that's just straight up agility. Moving on down to our belt, Deviate Scale Belt is great. It's crafted by leather workers, so there's usually plenty of them to go around and they're not too expensive. Leggings of the Fang, again, are going to be really good legs here. You're going to get 9 agility, 4 stamina, 5 strength from those. You could go for the Trip Runner Dungarees, which would be the absolute best legs, but I'm not sure how many people are going to be completing Gnomergun at this level. I mean, if you could get your hands on even Trollbane leggings, those would be the best. But Leggings of the Fang are going to be great if you want a little bit more DPS, but you want to sacrifice that stamina and strength. You can go for any Leggings of Agility. You're going to gain a little bit more agility, but you're going to lose that stamina and strength. It's completely up to you. Moving on down to our boots, we're going to get Pathfinder foot pads of agility, or any of the of agility boots here. You're going to get 8 agility. Basically, it's a feat of the links for hunters because you don't need that 3 strength when you're playing BM or marksman. So yeah, get of the agility boots and get 3 agility enchanted on them. For rings, we got Protector's Band, which is again our Warsong rep ring. You got to get honored with Silverwing Sentinels or Warsong Outriders, depending on your faction. This is going to be a pretty big ring, 4 strength, 4 agility, 2 stamina. So you want to pick that up. And then you can pick up Seal of Rin if you're Alliance. There's going to be people doing this, so I would suggest grabbing that as your second ring. And if you can't, grab any ring of agility in your second slot. Let's say you're Horde, or if you're Alliance and you just haven't done Seal of Rin yet, just get any ring of agility. And then as for trinkets, none of these trinkets will increase your DPS before you step foot into that raid. As for our bow, we're going to go with the Outrunner's Bow, which is revered with Warsong Rep for Horde and Alliance. It looks like they've remade it. It's a level 25 bow now. I'm pretty sure it was 18, 28, 38, 48. I could be wrong by that, but they definitely remade it a little bit here. So we're going to go with the Outrunner's Bow. This is a really nice bow. There's not going to be any other DPS bow that's going to be bigger than this at this level. So you want to farm that rep and get the Outrunner's Bow, and then you can put a scope on it to get that +3 damage. Now, all the gear you see here will also be used for our marksman spec. So let's go take a look at those marksman talents. Okay, so for our marksman hunter, we have our chest rune. We're going to take Master Marksman. There's some argument that Expose Weakness could be a little bit better, but I don't think so. I think having that 5% crit chance and 25% reduced mana cost on all your shots is going to ultimately equate to way more DPS than Expose Weakness. So we're going to go with Master Marksman, but this is going to be something you could test out once it's live. On your leg rune, we obviously want Serpent Spread. Targets hit by your multi-shot are also afflicted by your Serpent Sting. This is huge. There is absolutely no other option that will beat that. And then for our hand rune, you can go with 2 things here. You can go with Chimera Shot or Explosive Shot. I do think Chimera Shot will lead to more damage. You deal 125% weapon damage, refreshing the current sting on your target and triggering an effect. So when we have Serpent Sting up there, it's going to instantly deal another 40% of the damage done by your Serpent Sting. So it's going to kind of blast them for 125%. It's going to blast them for 40% of Serpent Sting's damage, and it will refresh Serpent Sting, so you don't need to waste a global doing that again. Or we can go with Explosive Shot. You fire an explosive charge into the enemy target, dealing 74 to 91 fire damage. The charge will blast the target every second for an additional 2 seconds. Cooldown is shared with Arcane Shot. So let's say we went with Explosive Shot, right? This would be the exact build we use. 5 points in efficiency to lower our mana cost for shots, lethal shots to get another 5% crit, aim shot, and then 5 points in improved aspect of the Hawk, or 5 points in improved Hunter's Mark. It's completely your choice. I really love this talent. I think it is amazing, and I do think this would be a bigger DPS increase than improved Hunter's Mark, but that, again, needs to be tested. If we're going to go with Chimera Shot, what you can also do here is take these 5 points and throw them into improved Arcane Shot, or 4 points into improved Arcane Shot, and then 1 point in Mortal Shots to increase your ranged weapon critical strike damage by 6%. This could also be really good. Completely up to you guys. Or you could take Chimera Shot and keep it the way that I had it, like this. But I do have a feeling that this would actually equate to maybe some more damage. So we got to see how that kind of plays out. But again, as for the gear is going to be the same as for the BM Hunter. So if you want to refer back to that. But right now we're going to move on to the Melee Hunter. All right, so for our Melee Hunter, our chest rune, we're going to take Lone Wolf. You deal 25% increased damage with all attacks while you do not have an active pet. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be the best way to play Melee Hunter. People are saying it is. I'm a little bit skeptical just because pets do a lot of damage in vanilla. So it may be more worth it to have a pet out and take Cobra Strikes, but we'll just go with Lone Wolf for the purposes of this build. On your leg rune, again, you could take Flanking Strike here, which will give your Mongoose Bite and Raptor Strike a 10% increased damage for 10 seconds. It stacks up to 3 times. And Raptor Strike has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Flanking Strike. This is going to be pretty good, but I do still think Serpent Spread is going to be a bigger DPS increase overall. You know, when they start the pull and pull a pack of mobs, you're going to multi-shot. That puts Serpent Sting on everything, and then you can kind of run in there, use Carve, which we're going to talk about next, which is your cleave, and then start meleeing stuff down. So we're going to take that. And then on our hands, we're obviously going to take Carve, a sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for 50% weapon damage, basically like a Cone of Cold or a Cleave. So that's going to be your melee cleave ability. And then for talents, we put 5 points in deflection for parry chance increased by 5%, 3 points in improved wing clip, 2 points in savage strikes to give your Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite a 20% boost to critical strike chance. 2 points into Clever Traps to get some extra damage out of Immolation and Explosive Trap, 30% to be exact. 3 points in Survivalist for 6% extra health, and 1 point in Deterrence to have a nice dodge, parry chance, increase cooldown if you ever do need it. So let's move on to the gear for melee hunters. Most of the gear for melee hunters is going to be exactly the same as the other builds. The only difference here is going to be your weapon. In my opinion, you're going to want a nice, slow two-hander, something with a decent top-end damage. Obviously, the absolute best two-hander that you're going to be able to get here would be Gizmotron's Mega Chopper. However, this is extremely expensive usually, but it does give you 14 strength, 5 agility. It's not super slow, but the top-end damage is higher than the slowest green weapon at this level. So this would be the best, in my opinion, the absolute best pre-raid two-hander to go for Melee Hunter. Or you can go with what I was just looking at right there, was Brutal War Axe of Agility, which is going to give you 11 agility. It's going to give you 88 top-end damage, 20.3 DPS on a speed that's 3.6, so it's nice and kind of slow, so you're going to get some big hits out of that. Or we may come to find out that dual wielding is better, which then you can use like daggers, or you can use axes or swords, maybe 2 cruel barbs. It's completely up to you, but I do think that two-handed Melee Hunter will definitely do a little bit more DPS than dual wielding, just because at this level you don't really have any hit rating, so dual wielding you're going to be missing a lot. But yeah, guys, that's my hunter guide. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out, and drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you have nothing to say at all, drop an emoji. Consider subscribing to the channel, turning on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. I'm going to be creating content all throughout the season of Discovery and the next season and the next season. I'm enjoying this and you guys are loving it, so thank you all so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you guys want to access these builds, I am posting them in the community Discord in their respective class channel. So if you want to join the Discord, go to the Hunter channel, and this build will be posted there. You guys can dive into it, edit some of the items, mess with some of the talents if you want. That's completely up to you. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.